After the fire came silence. After the victory came collapse. Welcome to Stories That Speak Today. I'm Alex. In this series, Come Back Again, we're looking at what it means to return. To return to truth, to trust, and to the God who keeps meeting us there. This story is called Back the Way You Came. Elijah had just stood on Mount Carmel and watched God answer with fire. The people had seen it. The false prophets had been exposed. It was a moment of power, clarity, and victory. But the next chapter feels different. When Queen Jezebel heard what had happened, she sent Elijah a message. "By this time tomorrow you will be dead." And Elijah ran. He left in fear and went into the wilderness. Finally, he sat down under a broom tree and said, "Lord, I've had enough. Take my life." This is Elijah, the prophet who had stood before kings, the man who had prayed for fire, now sitting alone, drained and overwhelmed. Elijah fell asleep under the tree, and an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." Nearby was bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. So Elijah ate and drank, and then lay down again. A second time the angel came back and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Strengthened by the food, Elijah traveled on to Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. Then the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah answered honestly. He said he had been faithful, but the people had turned away. They had broken God's covenants and killed his prophets. Now he believed he was the only one left, and they were trying to kill him too. Then God told him to stand on the mountain because the Lord was about to pass by. A strong wind tore through the mountains, but the Lord was not in the wind. Then came an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. Then came fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and stood at the entrance of the cave. Again God asked, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And after Elijah spoke, God gave him direction. "Go back the same way you came." There was still work to do, still people to anoint, still purpose ahead. Elijah was not finished, and he was not alone. God told him there were still thousands in Israel who had not bowed to Baal. Elijah had seen God move, and still he reached a point where he could not keep going. God meets him there. He gives him rest. He feeds him. He listens. He meets him in the quiet. And then he gives him direction. Go back the way you came. There was still work to do. Elijah was not finished, and he was not alone. This is what return can look like. Going back with God into the place where fear once took over. God meets us when we are worn down. He restores us quietly, and He leads us forward again. Lord, thank you for meeting us when we are tired. Give us rest and clear direction for the next step. Help us return with trust and keep walking with you. Amen. Next time on Stories That Speak Today, we'll come to one more return and see what it looks like when God keeps receiving His people.